And we are back with this Monster Energy DreamHack Studio broadcast of the Nordic Championship 2019 summer season. We just finished the first match of the day and of the tournament, where Ventus took down the final tribe 2-1, and we will now transition into a Denmark versus Norway fight as Copenhagen Flames face off against Celestial Gaming. Now, you know a lot about the histories of these teams, don't you, Sang?
Well, I gotta say that Celestial Gaming is one of my favorite teams, and even though they haven't been able to finish off that strongly in this tournament in previous years, I'm just really loving this team. This is the kind of team that focus on the players. They focus on having that synergy and playing together, everything that you kind of want to have in a team. But it's so difficult since League of Legends really rely a lot on that individual skill. So Celestial Gaming, for me, is a 50-50 team. Sometimes when they pop off, you cannot believe what they're doing, and you're just like, this is the top team and they're going to just finish this no problem. And then sort of they just falter, and I believe it's due to kind of the enemy teams having these really strong laners being a little bit unpredictable and making it so difficult for Celestial Gaming to go with their comfort play style. On the other hand, looking at Copenhagen Flames, I don't know how much I can say about this team, to be honest. They're the second seed coming out of Denmark. They are definitely from a strong region, but into Celestial Gaming, it's so difficult to make a prediction before the game has started.
Yeah, absolutely. Copenhagen Flames, after a third place finish in the DEL season 2, they did reach the finals this season. However, once there, they hit that brick wall that is Ventus, got 0-3'd. But it's you can't really say too much about that result since Ventus are looking so strong. So losing handedly to such a team isn't necessarily a major statement about your own skill. But Copenhagen Flames this season did secure that second seed, and they are no strangers to second place. With this roster and a previous 2018 roster, they've consecutively, for 4 seasons in a row, finished second in the local league championship Denmark. So they've always been a top contender there, but they've never been quite the best. So this roster of players are experienced competitively, regionally, but how they will fare in a Nordic-wide international competition is yet to be found out. So Sang, my guy, how do you think a team full of fresh blood with fresh blood players who haven't seen this international scene before, with competitive experience only from regional leagues, how do you think they will do on the international scene versus rosters with more established individuals and teams?
I think the important thing right now for Copenhagen Flames is to play their own game. It's really important to not get dragged into the play style of Celestial Gaming, to allow them to have these a little bit of slow lanes that they usually go for, and to go for these rotations and the team fights where they excel. Instead, try to split up the map, try to force 1 versus 1 and trust in your individual player's skill level, and try to just avoid Celestial at what they're doing best, taking the map control, taking the team fights, and playing as a unit.
For sure. And Celestial, as you said, are sticking to the same kind of roster that they've been running for quite some time now. Only the new jungler Dakrek coming in as of recently, and that role has tended to be the one thing they are willing to switch around and swap out. How do you think he will perform on the Nordic stage as a new player coming in into this established roster of Celestial Gaming players?
Well, it's always very difficult to see how a jungler, especially, will be able to work with his team, as he's the kind of player that needs to have synergy with every single player. Meanwhile, the top laner is sort of sitting there on his own. The bot lane has synergy work together, but the jungler needs to be able to work with everyone. So I think that's the main issue for them.
Okay, cool. I want to ask another question about Celestial as a team also. You mentioned that they're a little bit coin flip, and as such, they had good times and they had less good times. They did finish the previous Nordic Championship in 8th, only winning out over Riptide, I believe, from Iceland, who didn't secure a single match win. Do you think they underperformed considering that they're supposedly on a similar level as the Norwegian Nordavind, with recent results from both the DL and the local Telia Ligaen, where they've both won a best of five against each other recently. Do you think they underperformed?
I kind of feel like it's difficult to say that Celestial Gaming ever underperforms. It's just that they are inherently inconsistent, knowing that they play these very specific styles, and you see them at first. They play this style, they make it work textbook, and it looks so good. But then the opponents change it up, and they kind of mix it in. And Celestial Gaming, I feel, historically have had a little bit of a trouble to adjust to that kind of playstyle, especially when it gets a bit chaotic. Because when you're trying to go for your very secure playstyle, you want to have the game play exactly the way that you want it to, right? Then as soon as something throws in a wedge in those wheels, that's when you need to adapt quickly and improve. And a team that always focuses on having the teamwork focus, having that kind of steady game plan, who are not allowed to stop and think, I think that's the big issue for them, and that's why they kind of win game one, and then they have they have some trouble in game two and game three. So for me, Celestial Gaming, yet still, I want to see a new Celestial Gaming. I want to see that this jungle change has paid off, and that they can play in different kind of gears, so to speak. Not just sit back and be passive aggressive, but instead just take the wheels and just go for it. And if they can do that, I believe Celestial Gaming all the way to the semifinal.
Oh wow, that is a bold prediction, considering the performance of Norwegian teams in the past.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, I know. I gotta say it. I still believe in Celestial Gaming, and I still gotta do it. I really like the way they've been sticking together. I like their play style. It's just that, well, it's difficult. It takes such a long time to make a team work, just focusing on this kind of building this kind of strong family together. They have done it, and I still believe that they can make it work as well.
All right, lads, ladies and gentlemen, you heard it here first. All aboard the Sang-driven Celestial Gaming hype train. All to the straight away to the semifinals here. We're gonna have to see if they are managing to pull it off, though. Only time will tell. There are several weeks of group stage games ahead of us, so they got plenty of time to establish themselves and reach those playoff positions. We are into pick and bans now. We see immediately Nico Silas and Mordekaiser removed from Copenhagen Flames, with Yumi, Karma, and a final ban coming in now in response to Celestial Gaming. There is that Jace also. So, if you look back at how Celestial Gaming have played in the past, what would you say is their defining style or characteristic, and how will that influence the pick and ban phase?
Well, I expect them to play slow and steady, right? So I expect them to go with this kind of limited champion pool that they have had in the past, where they sort of focus. So they have these champions that they want to run. That makes them a little bit easier to handle in the second game in the draft. But for the first one, I expect them to go with this kind of slow and steady team composition. The Lux, for example, is a good champion to go with this. And for the enemy team, expect to see this Irelia, to see this Sejuani. I expect them to go really aggressive and try to just break through the Celestial Shield in the early stage of the game and completely snowball them, not allowing them to ever get into that comfortable spot.
So comfort versus denying comfort. The pick and ban phase is progressing nicely. We're going to see that Irelia, these flex picks, I adore them. You can see them go into pretty much, not pretty much anywhere, but early flex picks are so powerful, right? Because you tell as little as possible. There's that Sejuani also locked in, Dakrik hovering or locking in that Karthus, which could be put into the mid side also, most likely going to be a jungle Karthus. And the Lux could obviously go down to the support role. Could be also flexed mid lane. We'll have to see. Vlad also. So Irelia Vlad double flex is gorgeous, and it starts off your pick and ban phase beautifully. And a neutral jungler on Sejuani sets you up for success early on. The Renekton, though, into Irelia, that telegraphs a lot.
Yeah, that's the interesting little curveball for me right here. I see the Carters, I see the Lux, and I'm like, okay, yeah, we got shields, we got farming power, and then they throw in the Renekton. But I expect Coolberg to go with the Renekton, strong laning, and try just being that power player in the top lane to handle whatever that Copenhagen Flames throw at them. So I think that's the game plan so far, as the top lane is the kind of place on the map where has the least impact in the early stages of the game. That's the kind of just sit around, farm, and focus on your lane sort of play style. That Celestial Gaming also are really happy with. So no problem at all for them. You see now versus Lil Ambert, you have the Caitlyn and the Sivir bans, which do not surprise me at all. These are Caitlyn is very secure, Sivir having that hyper carry kind of secure potential as well. And Celestial Gaming just denying these heavy engages with the Nautilus and with the Rakan. Would not be surprised to see a Kaisa or something of the likes in the hands of Lil Ambivert.
You know, given the choice, I'm actually kind of surprised. The curveball is real with the Renekton. With how much priority Celestial and Coolberg have placed on Aatrox recently, running in 4 out of 5 games versus Nordavind in the finals. And it's open here. The fact that it's not locked in and the fact that Aatrox is in such a good spot is surprising to say the least. There's that Rek'Sai for Copenhagen Flames, though. Rek'Sai is very interesting. Where's the Rek'Sai going to go?
Yeah, exactly. That's an interesting one. But at the same time, I like this versus Celestial Gaming. Just throw in something that we have no idea how to handle. Just send it in, and oh, this is a champion that has not been seen in this first best of 3. It's the Ezreal pick, so very secure bot lane for Lil Ambivert.
Yes, and the Yumi is unfortunately not available. So Ezreal Yumi has been a staple bot lane duo for quite some time. Instead, that's that Corki mid lane, which puts the Lux comfortably. Or actually, let's not talk about hovers until they're locked in, right? A sin
This
of
is real.
casting Gnar instead. Wow. Okay, that's a Gnar. So what are we looking at here? Makes sense out of this song because I can't.
Okay, so throw everything I said out with the bath water. Now, this is looking to be a Lux support Gnar top lane, and Renekton mid lane will play into either. I was going to say either into the Vladimir or the Irelia, but now we see the Aatrox, and Copenhagen Flames are just saying we're happy to embrace all of this chaos.
What
and
the hell is going on?
I think it's Irelia bot lane together with, it's going to be Sejuani Irelia. I guess the synergy would be kind of crazy getting the stuns off, but at the same time, I mean, yeah, this is just crazy. Now at least you can see that within our top lane and Renekton mid lane, you can kind of decide on Copenhagen Flames who's going to face off versus Renekton. Looks like it's going to be the Vladimir in the end, and the Aatrox you talked about into the Nor. But the more I look at this, the more this actually starts to look like some sort of like team fight tactics situation, and not the League of Legends Summoner's Rift we're used to. Like, I'm having a difficult time kind of deciphering this.
Yeah, I mean, Copenhagen Flames shoehorned the Celestial Game, excuse me, into perhaps thinking that they could send the Renekton into a potential Irelia or something. Vladimir maybe going bot side or something like this. Instead, a complete curveball. I don't know, man. Is this calculated or is it going to be a fiesta? I don't know.
I think this is calculated chaos, and I do like the Irelia Sejuani kind of synergy. Once you manage to catch someone with Irelia, especially versus these the immobile Lux, that as soon as she uses her spell of her binding, then she's just a sitting duck waiting to get stomped, because Ezreal can't really do anything before he has gotten at least his Mana Mune and a Sheen to stop this super aggro coming in from Irelia and Sejuani. So they're going to have to play it so carefully versus this. You have Irelia jump in, you have Sejuani to dash forward, you get that first auto attack off, you get some more auto attacks, you get the extra stun from Sejuani, and that should be a kill. So it's a volatile matchup down bot lane. The poke, though, is real from Ezreal and Lux. So it's, yeah, this can go in many different ways. Mid lane, I expect Vladimir and Renekton to just glare at each other from a safe distance, and Vladimir to stay secure and just farm it up. and with his blood transfusion, and Renekton to kind of do the same thing, just healing up on the minions. Well, this is going to be an interesting one for sure. Rek'Sai as well in the jungle versus the Karthus, I guess, can invade a lot.
Yeah, I wanna. With all of this said, you're trying to make sense out of the chaos, and I just want to add another layer to it. I want to bring us back to 2 games ago, where we saw top lane Vayne with the Karma bot. We're analyzing this as if the players are going in accordance to their roles. There's still the possibility of everyone just switching around all over the map.
That's true. That's absolutely true. This could go anyway. Absolutely anyway.
All right, Zandia finds himself trying to close in on Kalhira there. Kalhira's support Sejuani supporting in Aurelia. Didn't think I'd ever see that, but here we are.
Okay, so Kulberg on Nor is moving top lane right now. We see Nijus as well up top lane with his Aatrox. It looks like they are going to stick with their respective roles.
Right.
But as we're saying this, their respective roles are not as respective as we are used to see in this game.
The lines are blurred for sure. Someone's been utilizing a heavily used rubber gum and just smearing it all across the paper and blurring the lines as much as humanly possible. But yeah, the players are at least going according to their role. Karthus starting bot side. Karthus does quite a good job at clearing red into Krugs with all that mana regen from E, right?
Yeah, absolutely. So he's happy with this. He's just going to farm up. And Celestial Gaming, I said, I always expect them to be a little bit more passive in the laning, respecting their opponents, and then try to make something happen with good rotations. Now with this Karthus, I kind of feel like it sort of plays into their usual style, but the Renekton is really the one that I want to look at and see how aggressive he is going to play this lane.
How aggressive can you really play into a Vlad though? It's so difficult, especially with the threat of Young's Rek'Sai crossing all of these thick walls and assisting really easily. You're gonna have to be quick, and you're gonna have to be decisive. Playing around the pool of Vladimir, obviously.
Yeah,
oh,
absolutely. But I mean,
Dakrek though.
Dakrek going for the invade, yes.
Mm-hmm. Watch Young coming in from the side.
He's gonna get it.
Likely. It's pretty free. And actually, Young finds himself in the middle of 4 people.
Oh,
okay.
Dakrek is standing still, waiting for Young to come to him.
Meanwhile, there's a fight going in mid lane. Zandia has Ignite also, but he can't output the damage, and no one dies. That was very peculiar, to say the least.
Yeah, absolutely. But I mean, Zandia on his Renekton actually with his Slice and Dice has quite a bit of mobility to avoid the Rek'Sai, I believe. As long as he also has his flash up, he can be quite far up in the lanes, since Vladimir has no hard CC to help with an engage. And also Vladimir early is really weak, meanwhile Renekton early is so strong in these trades. So Zandia with the Ignite power versus Eden Fox when it's Vladimir, also having the extra sustain that you get from a Renekton, can go for this Revenant. Oh, a very early pool!
Very early pull, but it's worth it. Knockup comes in.
Oh, Ignite!
Ignite.
Yes, it is!
Wow, he actually gets it. And Young is not going to chase any further than that. Zandia secures the first blood with that Ignite. Early advantage for Celestial. Zandia's happy about that.
I mean, this is huge, actually. And like I said, Renekton was really strong early, and Vladimir, with that early pool, really just losing out in that trade by using it that early. Wanted to, I think, avoid the stun, but at the same time taking so much damage that it's the same amount of damage that the stun would have dealt anyway. And then Zandia just tanky enough to survive the Rek'Sai. Also a little bit of a misplay, I think, from John using that tunnel. Just barely not in range to use it immediately with the knockup as soon as he landed, but had to move ever so slightly, allowing that split second for Zandia to be able to get enough damage off to get first blood and get away.
Absolutely. How do you think this bot lane from Copenhagen Flames is gonna play around this pushing? Because they are frequently establishing a pretty large minion wave, pushing it into the Celestial Gaming duo. And with all of the utility, all the CC, a potential tower dive is not to be disregarded for sure. So do you think that's what they're aiming for? Oh wait, that's a knock.
I think this is what they're aiming for. They
Yeah,
want to go for
absolutely.
this all in, but good position there by Eski means that he's just out of range for Gooby to jump in with his Blade Surge.
Sure, the stars are landing, the knockups are landing, and surely this looked like a practiced duo, all things considered. It's the slice and dice coming in, stun doesn't land.
Moving forward yes again. Sandia still wants to go for the solo plays.
Yeah, he's looking for them at least. Testing the waters. It's game number 1, right? Restarts. Rehash.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't think either of these teams played any other games today, right? Pretty sure.
No, they haven't. But look at this damage from Zandia. I mean, if he had Ignite there, that would have been another kill. And Eden Fox knows this, right? So Zandia can do almost whatever he wants, especially now with Ultimate up.
Yep, that Dominus is gonna help a lot with these tower dive situations. But you don't. I mean, tower diving with a Karthus, I guess. You've got that wall of pain to assist. Wait, hang on just a second. Nishuis finds himself right next to Dakrek in 1-1-1. Zandia 1v2s in the mid side. There's that Vladimir ultimate. Surely he will go down. Young picks it up, equalizes the kill score.
A little bit too greedy. Zandia being a little bit too greedy and not having his Ignite up just yet. Really good timing there from Jung, as I think that Zandia, knowing that he had his Ignite in just like 3 seconds when that fight happened, kind of was eyeing to be a little bit more aggressive, and Jung timed it perfectly.
Yeah, and this is what I mean. That's what we were talking about earlier. With Rek'Sai waiting in the wings, once you use that slice, I mean, it doesn't really matter if you have the dice available. If Young gets that positioning with the knockup right there. Obviously, he didn't have flash up for this time, but once he does, he'll be even more of a threat with that flash.
I think Zandia is overstaying his welcome just a little bit. If he waited for his flash to be more aggressive, instead of just always pushing, always being up in the face of Eden Fox, then this could have been a difficult situation to play a Vladimir into a Renekton. But now, I feel like Eden Fox is quite happy with this. He's just farming up, and this is exactly what you want to do with a Vladimir. So all of this kind of trading back and forth with Zandia is not really helping his case. Instead, I think you should just try to wait out. Oh, hold on.
Oh, meanwhile, bot side, here comes Young to assist, but can't even pick up a kill here. They're tower diving, but Gooby gets picked up surely by the Karthus ultimate. There it is. Dakrek, the newcomer for Celestial Gaming, secured the second kill of the team here. Two-shot barrage doesn't hit. SKH gonna look for this. They can't find it, but 1 kill going over.
Yeah, I mean, they don't need anything more. They're just happy with this. The outplay button by Dakrek was enough for them to turn that fight around, and Eski playing those beautiful bindings, managing to land it on both Gooby and Kolhira when Jung was moving forward, and then Jung got caught on the turret.
Yeah, a little bit greedy there by Copenhagen Flames, trying to force stuff. Seeing just how much they can get away from. We talked about the potential for tower dives early on. There it is. There's a Karthus in the enemy team. Be careful.
I mean, Rek'Sai can definitely be strong at tower diving, as you can also use your ultimate to remove aggro from the turret, but not when you're just chasing forward. As soon as that binding hit from Eski, I feel like Copenhagen Flames should have just been happy and like back off. Like, we tried, and we're just gonna wait for another attempt.
Yeah, for sure. Look at the ward coverage around the Dragon now. Both teams with defensive lineup wards there. A total of 5 control wards in that general area, with TP wards for both sides in the bot lane. So I think it's pretty telegraphed where the focus is right now.
Yeah, Mountain Dragon always a huge focus. I think especially if you're on the team that has no marksman, you really want to deny the enemy team to get that early mountain, to get the Mountain Dragon where they have both a Gnar and a Karthus on their team. Really strong Baron take coming out from Celestial Gaming.
Oh yeah, absolutely. The fact that they don't have a single a single marksman on their team, Copenhagen Flames, means that they will be at a disadvantage in the siege. Or if they find themselves in a sieging position, and having to defend against Carthage Narlux wave clear, even with True Shot Barrage, how can they do that? And while on the defensive, Celestial Gaming will have a more easier time if amplified with that Man Dragon. So correctly put, it's of extreme importance. And look at the patience of these two members here. Kalhira,
oh, here we go,
the
little
stun,
ambivert,
knock up, and that's just straight up textbook once again, isn't it? A little ambivert goes down, and that should be Dragon.
Yeah, this definitely is a free dragon, and I think Copenhagen Flames would be very happy to get this mountain just to help them a little bit for the late game if they want to go with the Baron, but especially denying the enemy team the ability to have that easier Baron take.
Oh, for sure.
Well, Eski able to steal this. Eski's going to try a little ambivert as well. They're trying to steal the Baron, the dragon, I mean.
Oof. I mean, the timing's there from Eski, but the damage is unfortunate. Nice try, though.
Yeah, it's always a nice try. I mean, it's not that long of a CD on Lux or on Ezreal, so using those ultimates like that, I don't think it matters that much for them.
No, not at all. And we'll see a little bit of a reset now, a bit of a lull in the action. Since they spent so much time setting up vision around the Dragon area, and now that it's gone, they'll have to start all over again with the next focus, because yes, if they want to wait for the next dragon, then sure, this word coverage will still play a part, right? But surely they'll be able to switch their focus to perhaps some plates or something like this. Meanwhile, Rift Herald picked up by Dakrek.
Yeah, Dakrek getting in Rift Herald very easily on this Kartus. He's going to deploy it instantly up top lane and help Kuhlberg push this down. The Snar has a lot of pushing power. What I am a little bit worried about, though, is the mid lane, as Dondia got the early advantage on this Renekton, and now as slowly has been allowing it to become a farm fest in the mid lane, as Young has been around. Oh,
Zandia,
yeah, again,
Zandia dies forward. Kalhira's here. Zandia overcommitting, but has that dominance to keep him alive, and still has flash also, so fairly safe for Necton, despite using all of the mobility. Gooby, meanwhile, 1v2's down on the bot side, just goes for a cheeky little trade. That's how you wave clear, I guess. Just, I mean, trade, I suppose.
I mean, Gooby not too worried about the damage from Eski and Lamiverse as long as that binding doesn't hit, so I assume that Eski already used this binding before Gooby tried to go for that little cheeky play. Has taken so much damage on the top lane, so this is a lot of gold in the hand of Kuhlberg and Dakrek.
Absolutely, and with that the final plate now remaining, we could even see a first tower attempt. We could perhaps even see some sort of a lane swap shenanigans go on here, where you send the Gnar down bot side, perhaps switch that to... Wait, meanwhile, actually, look at the burst damage by that combo, though. That's crazy. But
yeah, huge burst. Mid lane fight as well. Young is there again up top lane. That's a 1 versus 1. The fighting is absolutely everywhere. Nihus uses his ultimate instantly to avoid it.
Yep, and that's the Requiem also coming in from Dakrek's Karthus here. So the outplay button has now broken for a while under maintenance until a couple of minutes later, and this doesn't seem to matter for Celestial Gaming's bot lane siege, because they're pushing relentlessly still, as Gooby recalled just a minute. That's third plate, it's now gone though, so no more early gold advantage coming in from sieging.
There's still a lot of gold advantage that has gone to Celestial Gaming just from these third platings. So they're in quite a bit of a lead right here. They're up almost 4k gold simply from farming and getting the turret plates. So Celestial Gaming are looking like the kind of team that I want to see from them, having just this laning presence, not from kills, not from overcommitting too much, but just simply from having good lanes, pushing down turrets and getting every free objective that they can.
It's as if... Oh, hang on just a second. Oh, look at the CC chain coming in. The flash! Shields, though. Young comes in, ults into the tower, but it's not enough damage. Double kill for Dakrek. I'm looking for a third. It's Eski that picks.
as he
Man,
secures that kill in mid lane. Duckrek with the double kill, but also Zandia, you gotta give it to him with avoiding all of that damage,
Yeah.
just barely surviving. That was beautifully played by him.
The flash Lux shield by Eski also even had the shield available too. I mean, yes, if we just take a break from from having watched that fight just now, I feel like Celestial Gaming are playing as just like you described them, and they seem to be putting up the showing that you wanted to see. Absolutely.
This is exactly how I want to see Game 1 by Celestial Gaming. They have this weird playstyle, they make this draft work beautifully for them, even getting first blood on Zandia's Renekton mid lane. The enemy team kind of answers in fashion, going with a similar kind of crazy style, but they have not been able to make it work as well, and now with the top lane turret dive.
There is a top lane tower dive, and the issue is trying to escape. I don't know. Sooner or later, he's just buying time at this point, right? There's the binding, light binding under the turret. This should be a pretty simple donation. Coolberg picks it up.
Kulba gets the free kill, but the free dragon to the Copenhagen Flames. Or is it going to be a free dragon? Yeah, it looks like it. I don't think Zandia can do that much about it. Still going to rotate a little bit closer. Ocean Dragon at 16 minutes. Not as dangerous as getting it at 6 minutes.
Oh, for sure. But I mean, even so, we mentioned the poke coming in from Ambivert and Eski, so that's going to help a little bit to withstand that assault coming in from these the Celestial Gaming bot lane here. So it's not as if it's not valuable at all. It's just, yeah. Meanwhile, bot lane fight. Gooby forces the fight onto Zandia, and that in turn forces the TP from Coolberg. But Zandia is definitely hungry for the kill here. Young finds himself right next to Coolberg, ults in. The turret shot is perfectly synergized, and it's an extended fight, and that doesn't seem to end. Kalhira's stopwatch, I don't think, yeah, that's a flash forward, but the slice, or the dice I should say, is saved to close the gap once again, and Celestial Gaming Norway is running away with this one.
This is a very starved Gooby and Kalhira on this bot lane that didn't quite work out for them versus the monster of the mid-game Renekton with the Black Cleaver having level 12. It's perfect for him. Level 2 on his Dominus, maxed out abilities on his damage, and just being crazy now. And this is exactly how I want to see Celestial Gaming play. They're just making sure they get every objective as soon as Copenhagen Flames are trying to defend it. They're just there saying, okay, we know that we're in the lead. You're overextending and we're going to make you pay for it. Now up 9k gold, that's 18 minutes.
That's the highest goal lead we've seen today by far at this stage of the game. And it's looking like a clear-cut case, but considering the team compositions and the amount of CC and pick potential that exists on Copenhagen Flames, then yeah, the pick potential is there. But going up against a more traditional composition from Celestial Gaming that is now 9,000 gold ahead, as you stated, if you fall behind as Copenhagen Flames, it's rough, to say the least.
Yeah, I don't know really where their damage is supposed to be when they're falling this far behind, right? I mean, look at them faltering, just trying to clear their own jungle, having to fall back. Just talking, we talked about earlier about the gold lead, but especially with the turret situation going down here, this jungle is no longer Copenhagen Flames. Instead, now it's Celestial Gaming take control of the entire map, and it's not really much that you can do as Copenhagen Flames, right? You need to engage this somehow versus all of this damage and all of this disengaged as well. It's really difficult. You see the turrets is just being sieged down into oblivion.
For sure. I'm really impressed by Celestial Gaming's gradual ward coverage movement, right? Just look at how they place their control wards, continuously reapplying them wherever they want to focus. So they're hammering down this game as a what looks like a win. Let's not say it, or like as a clear-cut case here. Touch wood. Sanjay, meanwhile?
No, absolutely not clear-cut. Yeah, definitely not. But this is right now their game to lose. Like they're in the commanding position. Zandia just barely surviving this, but here comes the ultimate, going to finish the job mid lane in mid lane turret going down though at the same time.
Absolutely, and there's the mid-hip siege. And what I was, the point that I was trying to make here, before the bot lane action, was that Celestial Gaming are trying to turn this game into a win quite easily, but it's not only by being 9k gold behind it, also by playing smart and utilizing the vision, denying the vision in Copenhagen Flames' own jungle, as you said, making it into their own. And just in general, just playing smart League of Legends. It's refreshing to see, absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, you see Zondia getting killed bot lane, but that forced both Jung and Eden Fox to be around there. And without, I mean, any real wave clear on anyone on the team, apart from maybe the Vladimir, if you are prepared to use his Sanguine Pool to get away while doing it, then there's not much they can do about the sieging composition for that an Ezreal and a Lux can do. So it's really difficult right now for Copenhagen Flames to defend anything. They lost the mid lane turret, they lost the top lane turret, and they got one kill to show for it.
And honestly, I feel like Copenhagen Flames should start to prep seriously around the Baron and play around that. Yes, that is one way of finding repeated picks, especially with the extent to which they've gone to establish ward coverage. But also, if they manage to secure the buff, which they don't really need, it sort of puts Copenhagen Flames into a position of, what do you do now? Yes, you don't have wave clear with the Vladimir. You can maybe wave clear, as you said, but with Baron buff on top of that, that's just straight up the game ending.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, Celestial Gaming definitely will want to have this Baron at one point or another, but right now it's kind of the place where they can sort of throw this match as sticking around inside of Baron Pit versus the Hemo Plague versus the Glacial Prison from Sejuani, and you know, all of that AoE damage coming out from an Aatrox as well. Together with the jumping ability that you have on your team, on the enemy team, it's a little bit scary for Celestial Gaming to just try to brute force a Baron. But as soon as they win a fight, a good fight, as soon as you see an overcommit coming out from Copenhagen Flames, that's when it's basically a free Baron for Celestial. They can take this so quickly, and I don't think Copenhagen Flames can do very much about it if they fall even further behind.
So Dakar just picked up a death cap.
Yeah, he's really strong. He is very strong.
That's an impressive Karthus, to say the least. The outplay button of 5 members. You don't even, like, you can use that at the beginning of a fight or around a neutral objective and just sort of win that way.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to deal so much damage for these fights, and especially I think we saw Young earlier try to get hit by that one. I think it took about a third of his HP, something like that. So that's a lot of HP to lose from a single push of a button. But here, see someone losing a lot of HP as well. Yep. That's the pick that Copenhagen Flames were looking for. And a bit of a sloppy misplay there from Celestial Gaming, as they were caught unawares inside of an area that they should be controlling.
And importantly, it slowed down Celestial Gaming's momentum. It relaxes the game, puts it into a slower state. They now have a numbers advantage for quite some time. Yeah, they can't really get any objectives, can they? But they can re-establish some defensive wards. They can push back the lanes a little bit. And, you know, with an equal gold income, the team behind wins out.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, right now, Celestial Gaming, I'm not quite sure what they are waiting for at this point. They have the power spike on your Ezreal, you have the Spear of Shojin on your Renekton, Death Cap on Karthus, in 2-item Nor as well. Even though you lost your Lux right now, it's not a big issue, and they're gonna start Baron.
Yeah, there it is. They started, but they're quickly forced away by some attention from
There are quite a few wards here.
Oh
like,
my
there's one or two wards.
Yeah, there are a couple. Straight up 4 wards just to check. 3 of them will be denied by that single control ward from Celestial Gaming. Meanwhile, on the bot side, honestly, Frozen Mallet on that Gnar does so much in Sang control. Meanwhile, top side, Zambia finds himself in a 1v2, and yeah, it doesn't have enough HP to withstand that. Meanwhile, Nishuiz gets stunned up by Kulberg. That's it. Regroup around Baron.
Sandia trying to buy time right there for his team to be able to get the Baron, but overestimating how tanky he is. I guess caught instead. Eski just barely avoiding the Glacial Prison means that's a kill for these Celestial Gaming yet again.
Yeah, there's a pick that's going to make it a little bit more easy for Celestial Gaming to re-establish the control they had just moments ago. Gooby has been trying so hard to find these small engages, these small 1v2 brawls, and doing his best with the tools that he's given. But going down here does mean that Celestial, obviously, they have a couple of choices now. They can play around the Baron, they can try to gradually push up to the mid side, but it feels like they're a little bit afraid, despite being 10k gold ahead, of the potential collapse from Copenhagen Flames TFT comp.
I mean, Celestial Gaming doesn't have the strongest Baron take. They can get quite a bit of damage off it with the isolated damage from the Cartus, and of course having the Ezreal auto attack speed as well. But at the same time, I mean, Cartus is the only one on the team that takes Baron quickly. The rest of the team sort of So I think they're struggling a bit. They really wanted to have that Mountain Dragon earlier. Right now, like you said earlier, they're just buying time really for Copenhagen Flames to get back into the game.
Sonja, top side. I mean, this Vladimir has reached a point where he's almost level 16. He's got Protobelt Morello looking for that Spellbinder, I think, or even potentially Rabadons. So, I mean, yes, they're buying time, and they're buying time for this Vladimir to get absolutely huge. He's already dealing with Zandia, and the amount of burst that can come out of this carry is insane, especially since there are several squishies on the side of Celestial Gaming. Baron has started, 50% HP.
Baron, yet again, has been cancelled. It's a little bit of a weird situation now for Celestial Gaming, as you have your Gnar that tries to split push, but sort of can't really 1v1 Nihis on his Aatrox, and you sort of want to go 4-man Baron, but at the same time you don't want to have a fight inside the Baron pit, and now about to get caught. Eski almost caught here, turns it on the Nihis instead.
Yeah, Eski flipping the Aatrox straight into his own team. That secures a heavily one-sided fight for Celestial Gaming. 2 kills going over to Lil Amvert, make that 3. A triple kill at the 27th minute. Leaves only Kalhira Sejuani to defend against a 5-man Celestial Gaming squad that are hungry for a first game win.
I think this is game. This should definitely be game for Celestial Gaming. They are going forward, they're clearing these minion waves so quickly, and with the auto attack speed, and also just Ezreal with the Blade of the Ruin Kill going ham on all of these tanky champions. This is an open Nexus.
Absolutely. In the match between Norway and Denmark, it's Celestial Gaming that are starting their own redemption arc in the summer season of 2019.
Players are writing GG in chat, they should write CG in the chat, because Celestial Gaming had complete control of that game. I was worried there for a second in the mid game where I felt like they were stalling too much, but then all of a sudden they just got it. Turned it around, Eski with that beautiful play, forcing Nihu straight into the enemy team, getting the bindings off everywhere, and simply just surviving with all of his micro skill, making it look like an easy victory for Celestial Gaming, the team that no one actually expected to play this well, I would dare to say, in this tournament. This is just the kind of this is the kind of game I want to see from Celestial Gaming.
You say no one believed, but you are the driver of the Celestial hype train. It's true.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I'm on this one track within the hype train for Celestial Gaming. I love this team. I gotta be honest with you, but let's not be biased here. Copenhagen Flames, I love the way they played it as well, with this huge weird team composition to try to throw Celestial Game, like, you know, off the regular sort of play style. But Celestial Gaming didn't allow them to. They were just like, okay, cool, you're gonna play this weird style. We're still gonna play our way, and we're still gonna make it work.
Oh, for sure. Copenhagen Flames held on for way longer than you could imagine. Like, they were up against a 10k goal lead for such a long time, and they just kept buying time. They kept trying to get this Vladimir to reach a point where we can have enough of an impact to truly influence fights, or split push the way into something. But yeah, it just the composition that they drafted themselves into, they had to get ahead earlier, at least stay even to be a true force to be reckoned with. Unfortunately, they didn't manage that in game 1. I don't know. Do you think game number 2's draft is going to be as crazy as this?
I definitely don't think so. I think we're going to see
No.
Copenhagen Flames get back to something a little bit more normal. Celestial Gaming
Yeah.
might still have something down, in their pocket, like to go with something a little bit weird. I mean, Renekton mid lane actually was perfect for this team composition that they were running and versus what they were running into as well as. I mean, they didn't have that big burst to handle a Renekton, so you can just go and life steal everywhere and get back into the fight no matter what happened. But yeah, I mean, I gotta say, that was a fantastic game one in this series best of 3.
Absolutely. And with that said, we are heading into commercials again. So we will bring you game number 2 of this best of 3 between Celestial Gaming and Copenhagen Flames. Will Copenhagen Flames strike back? Find out in a couple of